Okay, everybody, good to see you. It's been a while. It's October 15th. That means our garden season is officially over. And I thought I'd report on how Leanne and I did with our first attempt at a garden. I'm not gonna lie, I think we did spectacular. I think we did better than spectacular. Not only that, it was so rewarding. Okay, you're here. This is our start to finish on how we grew a garden using ChatGPT and AI. Let's go.
We started this garden with no idea of what we were doing. Just a couple of first-timers, a shovel, and a patch of dirt that looked bigger every time we came out to it. ChatGPT said start with the soil. Fish-based fertilizer for nitrogen, bone meal for roots, gets the base right before worrying about plants. So we followed along, spreading it out, mixing it in, and trying not to breathe in too deep. It smelled like low tide in July. The ground came to life fast. Darker, softer, almost spongy. For two people winging it, it felt like progress. Once it looked half decent, we mapped it out the old school way. Stakes, string line, rough measurements, and a sketch that wouldn't win any awards. Straight rows were the goal, close enough was the result. No experience, no plan, just effort, curiosity, and a lot of dirt under the fingernails.
I think I'm gonna do the sunflowers next.
You should. We started on our hands and knees, pushing potatoes and seeds into the soil one by one. Nothing fancy, just dirt, effort, and a bit of hope that something would come up. Neither of us had ever done this before. Every handful of soil felt like a guess, but it also felt right. We didn't want a garden full of decoration. We wanted groceries, real food we could actually eat. So we went practical. Carrots, peas, beans, beets, and a few rows of corn and a line of sunflowers to make it look alive. For the heavy hitters, two kinds of potatoes, russets and Yukons. The plan was simple. If it grows, we eat it. One row at a time. We were figuring out how to feed ourselves. Once everything was in the ground, it came down to one thing: water. Every seed needed a fighting chance. At first we were hand-bombing the rows with watering cans, back and forth, slow and kind of ridiculous, but it worked. Then we got smart, brought out the old Honda vintage trike, hooked up a water wagon and turned it into a one-man irrigation system. It wasn't pretty, no, it was pretty, and it got the job done. The goal was simple: keep it alive long enough to grow roots. We didn't know how much water was too much or not enough. We just watched, learned, and adjusted. For two people figuring it out as we went, it felt like progress. The seeds were in, the soil was fed, and the garden finally had a pulse.
The hilling of the potatoes? Didn't mind either. Made great big potatoes.
Once things started coming up, checking the garden turned into a daily thing. Prosecco in one hand, the other pointing at whatever looked different from the day before. The early leader in the clubhouse? The sunflowers. I don't know what Leanne planted, but they looked like Chernobyl seeds. Massive stalks, leaves the size of dinner plates. They took over the corner of the yard like they owned it. Hey, we'll spare you the weeding footage. Nobody needs to watch us crawl through rows for hours. But honestly, it wasn't as bad as we expected. Weirdly satisfying even. There's something about clearing row and seeing the plants breathe again. It kinda hooks you. We leaned heavily on ChatGPT for a lot of plant ID, taking pictures, asking what was a keeper and what had to go. It saved a few innocent sprouts and probably cost a few others. Either way, we learned fast. Turns out half of gardening is just figuring out who belongs and who doesn't. We hit a point where things were starting to stall, so we brought out the secret weapon, shake and feed. ChatGPT's advice again, and honestly, it changed the game. Within days, everything took off. The leaves went darker, thicker, the kind of growth you notice overnight. It felt like I'd just corked my bat or started taking performance enhancers. Either way, the results were undeniable. My potatoes were looking spectacular, strong, even like they were built for a television commercial. And Leanne's sunflowers? They went off the rails. Absolute chaos. Big, loud, leaning into the wind like they were in a competition. One of the unexpected bonuses was the random growth. Stuff we didn't plant, but the garden decided we needed anyway. Out of nowhere, a head of leaf lettuce just showed up. No idea how it got there, it just appeared. Perfect, green, like it'd been waiting for someone to notice. We chipped off it all summer. Every time we walked by, we'd grab a handful for dinner. As the calendar flipped, the garden crossed that line from plants to food. The beets were huge, heavy, deep red, the kind that make you double check if you overdid it. The corn actually looked like corn, standing tall and proud. But the real stars of the food show were the potatoes. Both the russets and the Yukons came out strong, big, firm, perfect skins. Digging them up felt like finding treasure. Every scoop with the shovel turned into a small victory pile. And that was the moment that it hit us. We'd actually done it. The garden wasn't just a project anymore, it was food. Actual edible food. And now to wrap up this garden tale, we've got to talk about Leanne's sunflowers. Not sure what the hell happened here, but I might need to call Guinness records. They were aggressively huge, towering over everything else, making the rest of the plants look very uncomfortable.
Leanne Erdman celebrating her first gold medal in the giant sunflower growing competition. Leanne this year has grown a 22-footer. Pretty remarkable in this style. Look at the size of these. I'm not even going to call them flowers. I'm going to call them trees. Trees with flowers.
Yeah.
Pretty remarkable. Congratulations, Leanne. You're this year's champion. Enjoy your champagne.
Thank you.
You could see them from space. They didn't just grow, they took over. But give credit where it's due. Leanne deserves the victory. Those sunflowers were the headline act of this whole experiment. The rest of us just grew food. She grew monsters.